Hey up everyone! So continuing the Venice Film Festival coverage, today's movie I'm going to be discussing on the channel is the latest film from the fabulous, the one and only Pedro Almodóvar. It is of course The Room Next Door. I want to be in the room next door, the room next door, the room next door. Can you imagine? The Room Next Door is an adaptation of the novel What Are You Going Through by Ingrid Nunes, which Almodóvar has adapted himself. Fun fact, this is actually the first ever fully English language feature that Almodóvar has made. He has done a couple of shorts in English, the most notable one being A Strange Way of Life, but yeah, this is his first full feature film that's all in English. The Room Next Door tells the story of a friendship between two middle-aged women called Ingrid and Martha, played in this film by Julianne and Tilda Swinton. Ingrid and Martha have been friends for decades. They bonded together over their shared occupation and passion of writing. Ingrid writes novels and Martha was a war journalist, but she's since then stopped ever since she got the diagnosis that she has stage 3 cervical cancer. She's given some experimental medical options to combat the cancer, but would rather die with some dignity rather than live in a world of false hope. After she gets reacquainted with Ingrid, she asks her to help her die, to kill herself. She acquires a euthanasia pill on the online black market and wants to rent out a house in Woodstock where she can get some peace and serenity, and she wants Ingrid to come along with her so she can be in the room next door when she decides to take the pill and slip away peacefully. And that's pretty much all the plot that you need to know. So what did I think of The Room Next Door? Honestly, this feels like a movie that was custom made in a lab specifically for me, okay? Because I love me some Pedro, I love me the talents of Tilda Swinton and Julianne Moore, so yeah, the thought of having all three of them together on the same project, okay, my big gay ass couldn't handle it, okay? I was very excited for this film. I'm not going to tell you that this is Pedro's best work. I did think there was some bits of the story that weren't really needed. And I think some of the creative choices were a little bit, choicey, but I still came away from this film erring on the side of positivity, okay? For the most of it, I did enjoy it. Like I said before, this is the first screenplay that Pedro Almodóvar has written in English, and I'm happy to report that the trademark Almodóvar sensibilities don't get lost in translation in this film. You can tell just from looking at it that this is a Pedro Almodóvar film, okay? The writing is very melodramatic. It's a very colorful film, lots of primary and secondary colors in the production design, the costumes, and the cinematography. It's very warm and inviting. Just the look of this film is neat as a pin, okay? Everything is placed in the frame with intention. There's so many like straight, neat lines everywhere you look. It's just very pleasing to the eye. There's two absolutely splendid performances from his two co-leads, Julianne Moore and Tilda Swinton. As I've said before on the channel, Pedro Almodóvar just writes absolutely delicious roles for women. So yeah, The Room Next Door very much looks, sounds, and feels like a Pedro film. But the USP of this film is that it's his first one in English. And I had a really good time with it. Having Julianne Moore and Tilda Swinton sharing the screen together, they are just the most divine on-screen pairing. Like, I could sit and watch these characters they're playing for hours. It goes without saying that they both deliver in this film, but would we expect anything less from two highly respected Academy Award-winning actresses? I don't think so. No. Both of their characters have their own arcs. Julianne Moore's Ingrid, she has a fear of death, and we watch as she goes on this journey of acceptance and learning not to fear death as much by the end of it. And with Tilda Swinton's Martha, she has been covering like war zones and battles like for most of her adult life, but now it's a personal battle she's facing with this disease, and she knows this is a battle that she is inevitably going to lose, so she wants to end things on her terms, okay? To die with a little bit of dignity. But yeah, with Moore and Swinton, they are wonderful separately and also together and deliver such compassionate, tender performances. And that's what most people are going to be tuning in for with this movie, so on that front, the performances in this film are sublime. Like I said before, I do have some negatives about this film. I'm just going to come out and say that I've not read the book that it's based upon. Okay, I can't tell you how faithful of an adaptation it actually is. But there were times where I found that Almodóvar's screenplay was getting a little bit too overly political and unnecessarily in certain scenes, mostly through the character that JohnTurturro plays called Damien. He is a past shared lover of both Ingrid and Martha, but he is just like a full-on nihilist, just doesn't have any faith in humanity, and he often like spews out a lot of vitriol about how the planet is, you know, screwed, climate change is inevitable, people just lack common decency, all negative, all doom and gloom. It just feels like we veer off on a tangent sometimes that doesn't feel all that necessary. I felt like maybe he could have reeled it in a little bit. I don't know if that's accurate to the source material, maybe it is, but I felt like sometimes it was just taking us on a detour, which could have come back to a lot quicker. Also, this is a very talky film. I've got no problem with that. It's just there's a couple moments, particularly in the beginning, where Martha is explaining like her relationship to her daughter, and there's just a lot of like, you know, exposition dumping going on, okay? It's quite a lot sometimes. Also, there's a creative choice in the last part of the film, which I don't think everyone is going to enjoy, because I did hear some like derisive laughter in my screening, and it's to do with Martha's daughter, Michelle, when she shows up. And once you see who's playing her, you go like, okay, this is a choice. And for me, it didn't bother me all that much. Like, after a few minutes, I was just like, I kind of accepted it, got used to it. But I could tell some people just weren't having it. Like, it's just like, nope, this is too much. It's taking me out of the movie. Also, I do want to give a shout out to the composer, Alberto Iglesias. He does a wonderful job with the score here. It's got a lot of like soapy undertones. It feels quite melodramatic, which, you know, very fitting with an Almodóvar movie. All right then, shall we talk about its Oscars chances? Okay, this is going to be an interesting one to see how it plays out, because honest to God, I was talking to Emma Sasek from Next Best Picture, and we both kind of agreed that The Room Next Door has the potential to be one of those movies that, you know, gets some traction and gets a few nominations at the Oscars, but we could also see it being completely shut out as well, because it depends on how it's received. Because The Room Next Door is a lovely, charming movie. There's a lot to praise about it, technically, the performances and stuff, but is it a Best Picture contender? I'm not sure. Is it one of Pedro Almodóvar's best works? I think most people are going to agree it's not like one of Almodóvar's best. So, but what's working for it is that it is in English, so it is more accessible. So maybe there's a chance that, you know, more people are going to see it, really fall for its charms and sensibilities. But yeah, is it going to be a player, and in what categories? Because yeah, it could go either way. But the thing that it feels like the most likely to get nominations for is the performances for Julianne Moore and Tilda Swinton, which brings me into another topic of discussion: is where would they go for Best Actress and Supporting Actress? Because they are definitely co-leads in this movie, but we don't really see any more when you've got two co-lead, especially female stars, them splitting it up. I don't think we've seen it since like Thelma and Louise, where, you know, they both went for lead actress when they're both clearly lead actress. Like they'll just split up, one will go lead, one will go supporting. The most logical path, I think, would be Julianne Moore would be lead actress. Even though Tilda Swinton, the story really is about her character Martha, her cancer struggles, her journey. The story itself is told from Julianne Moore's perspective, and she is the one telling the story, like narrating it. She's the one that starts the movie, that we're introduced to first. And then, yeah, Swinton, I believe, will probably go supporting actress. That's how I feel at the moment. And yeah, because they're so highly respected, both Moore and Swinton, it could happen. I could see them getting in. I actually think like maybe Swinton might have a stronger chance in supporting, like more so than Julianne Moore getting into Best Actress, because Best Actress is starting to look quite crowded. But Moore could still do it. She hasn't had a nomination since she won for Still Alice. So it would be nice to see her get nominated again. I would say Swinton feels like more likely to get a nom, I'd say, just because Best Supporting Actress kind of remains to be seen who are the frontrunners in that category, kind of like last year as well. We didn't really know at this point. And I think Tilda Swinton probably could do it, okay? It's a very sad role for her. She plays it so beautifully. She's great in this, but she's always great. She's bloody Tilda Swinton. We love TildaSwinton.com. So if it's going to get nominated for anything, it would probably be for performances. But could we see some nominations for Pedro, like for directing or writing? Again, I'm not sure about directing. I don't think this is his greatest display of direction. It's lovely, like he shoots things beautifully, and I liked the imagery of the snow and all that. But I do think he might have a chance in Best Adapted Screenplay, okay? Like, he is beloved by the Academy, and if there is that sort of like pack mentality to give The Room Next Door like a lot of love, maybe it will get into screenplay, but I don't feel confident on it yet. It would be nice to see a nomination for Edward Grau for cinematography. Like, this film just looks so beautiful. Like, I know it's very colorful and like easy on the eyes, but it's just really well polished cinematography. Also, I really enjoyed the score of this movie, and if you guys remember, Alberto Iglesias kind of shocked a few years ago when he managed to get nominated for the score for Parallel Mothers, and I actually think the score is better here than it was in Parallel Mothers. So I'm wondering if he can do it again. I wonder if he's just going to show up again, get another nom. I'd like to see that. But is this a Best Picture movie? I don't think so. I think it needs to be really embraced a lot of love. I know it got like a very long standing ovation tonight at Venice, maybe like 13, 14 minutes, I don't know. But I think that is just a celebration of the gay holy trinity of having Pedro Almodóvar, Julianne Moore, and Tilda Swinton all in the same room. Like, yeah, no wonder they were clapping for like, half an hour. It wasn't half an hour, but you know what I'm saying. I don't know. I feel like the film would need to be like really showered upon with love, and from the people I've talked to today, it's quite mixed. Like, I'm on the more positive side of things. I've heard people say quite middling, some people saying it's not good at all. So yeah, I think it's going to be critically a bit mixed. Maybe audiences will be more loving towards it. We'll see. Sadly, I'm not going to put it in my 10th for now. Again, I'm probably going to put it around like 13, 14 mark. Like, there's potential for it to happen, but I'm not putting my money on it just yet. Hey up guys, I'm just editing the video right now. I just realized I forgot to mention production design as well. So yeah, I think it could be a potential nominee for production design, but I'm not overly confident on it just yet. But yeah, that's where I'm currently at with Oscar predictions for The Room Next Door. What about you guys? Any categories you think I missed or it might surprise the nomination? Whatever you think, do let me know in the comment section down below. Love hearing from you guys. All right then, shall we ask them 3 questions? Firstly, would I watch this again? Yes, absolutely. I was quite smitten watching this movie. The performances are to die for. Just loved watching Julianne Moore and Tilda Swinton together. So yeah, happily watch this again. And I don't even add it to my collection back in London. Question 2, do I recommend it for you guys? Yeah, I do. If you like movies like Roger Michel's Blackbird, really underseen and underrated film. I saw that TIFF a few years ago. Really love the movie. Also about euthanasia and very emotional. Hit me hard. Yeah, I think you'll probably like it if you like that movie. If you're a fan of Pedro, his works, this very much feels like part of his catalogue. It feels very much in tone and style of what you're used to expecting with his work. So yeah, if you're a Pedro fan, check it out. And also, if you're a fan of the talents of Julianne Moore and Tilda Swinton, they crush it here. Absolutely smash it out of the park. Go support them if you want to support some struggling artists. Yeah, you know they need your support. They kind of say it with a straight face. Yeah, they're doing fine, don't worry. Yeah, if you want to see them killing out their craft, go check this out. They're great in it. And third question, what score to give out of 10? Again, I don't think this is Pedro's best work, but I did really enjoy this movie. Strong performances, it looks gorgeous. I feel like some of the writing could have been a bit more finessed. Some of it didn't need to be in there. So I'm going to give The Room Next Door a score of 7.5 out of 10. But as always, guys, it is just one bloke's opinion. I want to hear from you. Are you excited for The Room Next Door? Have you seen it? If you have, what do you make of this movie? What do you think of its Oscars chances? What do you have to say about this movie? Let me know in that comment section down below. If you guys want more movie, TV, and Oscars-related content, don't forget to click subscribe. I'm being a little bit too chaotic with this statue, knowing it's been broken 2 times on this trip already. If you want to stay up to date with all my Venice Film Festival coverage, be sure to follow me on the socials. You can find links to all these in that video description down below. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. For more things related to movies, TV, the Oscars, and popcorn culture, I'm Luke Harefield, and I'll see you next time.